this week's Ag Update. My name is Mike Perkins, Certified Crop Advisor with Osmus Farm Supply. This week we're going to talk a little bit about staging crops. Even at this late time you can still stage them. And a little bit about micronutrients and foliar feeds at this time of year. So, first off we're going to look at soybeans. So in soybean, at this time of year, one of the critical stages that we are looking for is R3, where a lot of the fungicides are recommended at R3. So what R3 is defined as is a 3/16 inch pod in one of the top 4 nodes. So like in this soybean plant, we have the beginning here, 1, 2, 3, and 4 nodes. And here is a small pod at the 4th node with a fully developed leaf, and it is just about 3/16 of an inch probably. So we are right close. Technically this plant would probably be R2, which is full flower, a flower in one of the top 2 nodes. But it is right at transitioning to R3. So a good time for fungicide, R3, is one of the most profitable timings. Here we raise indeterminate soybeans, so you can see we have pods growing. Some of them have some pretty good sized pods on them, and we still have flowers and flowering reproduction happening. So a determinate soybean would do most of its growth, and then it would flower and pod. Our indeterminate soybeans that we raise in our area kind of do it all at one time. They can be setting pods and flowering still at the same time. So good fungicide timing and also good timing for micronutrients on soybeans. One of the products that we sell is called a symbol release. It has some sulfur, zinc, boron, manganese, molybdenum in it. Boron is critical to crops at pollination. It helps with pollen germination and also helps move sugars and starches around for good pod fill and seed set. Molybdenum helps with infection in the nodules to the nitrification process, and also helps it utilize more nitrogen from the soil. So it's a great time to finish off feeding these soybeans at the same time we're putting fungicide on, and help it pollinate better and fill pods better. Also with some zinc in there, you're going to utilize the carbohydrates better in this and utilize nitrogen better. So would be a great time for that also. If we move on to corn, so what I did here is, you can see this corn plant's getting up there pretty good, getting close to tassel. A good way to stage these is if you split the stalk, and you only have to split it a ways. But the way this works is, so we start out with vegetative stages. As soon as that tassel comes out, we call it R, or reproductive stages. So the first 5 vegetative stages tend to stack nodes. So you can see down here in the bottom, they're pretty much all stacked together. The first one that elongates or has a gap in it is V6. Vegetative stage 6. So we can tell right now I'm starting V6 here. Right here's another node, V7. Now I can count the leaf. V8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. We hit V18, and that's pretty much the end of vegetative stages. And then it goes to VT. Takes 5 days to a week, depending on the weather, to advance a stage. So this corn plant's probably a little over a week and a half away from tasseling. We can also see the seed still. So from when this was planted, we could actually tell planting depth yet at this time of the year, and the seed's still there. If we had marked the soil line, we could basically determine the planting depth yet. So a little bit more about these stages. So we're in the vegetative growth stage up V5. It hits V6 and V7. That tassel is actually already established in the plant and started growing. About V6 to V7 is when the growing point comes above ground. So now we have a chance of being hurt more by hail or frost and that things, because the growing point finally came above ground. And one of the reasons a lot of the herbicides and things, they limit you up to V7 and don't want you to spray them at V7 is now the tassel is already established in the plant. There's more chance of injury to the plant at that point. And when that plant hits VT, it's probably one of the worst possible times for a hailstorm. All of your leaves you're going to get are out. You've not yet pollinated an ear, so hail that pretty much defoliates the plant at that point would be almost 100% grain loss. So on the corn, we have some products that we like to run. One of them is obviously the symbol release again would be a good choice, because you're getting multiple micronutrients there and a good dose of boron. There again, boron in the pollination of the corn is very important, and boron really helps to move nutrients around. So once these plants tassel, we got a pretty good root system there, but this corn starts to take up massive amounts of nutrients, and some of it's going to have to take from other parts of the plant, and boron really helps it utilize those and move them around where it needs them. Zinc and those things help them metabolize them, but boron would help this plant move nutrients where it needs to go and pick up more and get it where it needs to go from the soil. So that'd be definitely a recommendation with fungicide, is like the SRN 25B. The past 2 years we ran that in a field trial with an average of it was like 4.5 bushel or 5.5 bushel. So a good return on the investment. You're getting a little bit of slow release nitrogen and boron in there. If you feel you have more micronutrient deficiencies you want to treat, the symbol release would be an excellent option also. You're getting about the same amount of boron of the symbol release, but you're getting other micros with it, sulfur, molybdenum, manganese, and zinc. So think about micronutrients like that turbo in your semi. They give you that extra boost, the final horsepower out of that corn and soybeans for the end of the year, and you need that boost if you're going to beat the neighbor. So if you have any questions, please contact your local AFS agronomist, and thank you for watching today.